Alex Hayden here to bring you all the action for today's race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. This marks the middle of the round of 8, and it only gets harder from here with Martinsville looming. So for some, it's critical to secure their spot in the Championship 4 today. Cars are gridded, the drivers are ready, and the fans are excited for the command. Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to another edition of NASCAR 22 on the channel. And it is the second race of the round of 8 of the playoffs here this evening at the Homestead-Miami Speedway for the running of the Dixie Vodka 400. This is, of course, the second race of the round, the second to last race of the round as well. We do have one driver already locked into the Championship 4 based off a win in the first race of the round 2 nights ago at Las Vegas. That would be Chase Elliott, and he is trying to go for a championship just like he did in real life at Phoenix this season when he made it to the Championship 4. Also has almost about the same amount of wins this year, as well as he has 4 wins on the season now. He'll be trying to go for 5 today and try to go for back-to-back for the first time for himself this season. Our driver, Kevin Harvick, comes in 86 points above the cutoff line into today's race. Looking pretty good. Might even be able to lock ourselves in on points today if we don't get a win. So there is a possibility if we don't win the race and lock ourselves in on points that we could only have one driver that is going to potentially be in the playoffs after Martinsville. I should say only one more driver that can lock themselves in at Martinsville, which would be very interesting if that takes place tomorrow night. Now, we will be racing that race tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll have our Championship 4 race next week. But as far as tonight goes, we'll see how this is going to end up. We did qualify in the 15th place position for today's race, and we'll take a look at where the other playoff drivers start, as well as who all starts at the front of the field inside the top 10 specifically. Kyle Larson going to be on the pole for today's race. He was bad fast at Las Vegas, did not get the win, but did get a top 5. He'll try to go for his second win of the season today. He did win a stage in that race as well. Martin Truex Jr. starts on the outside of the front row, comes in 13 points below the cutoff line. He's the first driver below the cutoff line as of right now going into tonight's race. At Homestead, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell will line up in row 2. Christopher Bell sitting pretty comfortably on points right now. Currently coming into today's race, 32 points above the cutoff line. He is third in the standings as of right now. Bubba Wallace and Chase Elliott in row 3. Again, Elliott is locked into the next round already. He's the first driver in the Championship 4. He is not really racing for any playoff points today, just some extra practice. Another win towards his career wins list, I guess, is all he's racing for both today and tomorrow. And Bubba Wallace trying to go for his third win of the season. Eric Jones and Michael McDowell looking for their first wins of the year as they qualified in row number 4 and 7th and 8th. Then Alex Bowman and Ryan Blaney will round out the top 10. 2 drivers that did make the playoffs but are already eliminated, and also 2 drivers still looking for their first wins of the season as well. Playoff drivers who start outside the top 10 would include Ross Chastain in the 12th place position. Chastain comes in 22 points below the cutoff line today. William Byron starting very deep in the field. Again, Kevin Harvick in 15th first and foremost. Then Joey Logano, who comes in the last driver above the cutoff line on points. He is plus 13 with Truex starting second, Logano starting outside the top 10. There's a very good chance Truex could end up gaining a lot of points in stage 1 over Logano, so Logano's going to have to get a move on in the early going of today's race. But there you see Byron all the way back in the 27th place position in the number 24 car. He's 24 points below the cutoff line, but starting deep in the field. Not looking good for him to start today. Austin Cindric, the rookie who made the round of 8, already crowned the Rookie of the Year champion, but trying to make it to the Championship 4 in his rookie season. He is 32 points below the cutoff line. He missed out on 11 points after the first race of the round, despite finishing 12th. He didn't get any stage points. That's what hurt him there, and ended up losing points to the cutoff line. And now he starts deep in the field today. In fact, the last of the 8 drivers remaining in the race for the championship in tonight's race. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're about to get into tonight's full race live stream realistic commentary coverage. No Torres, Dark Crypto, Brainer Martinez, Billy Kramer, Santiago Kid, Wade, Sandman, and others, welcome into the stream. Also, be sure to tune in Sunday evening and Sunday night for our first live commentary live stream of the 2023 NASCAR season. We'll be commentating, or I should say, I specifically will be commentating the heat races, followed by the LCQ for the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum on Sunday evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go live there, and then we will also be live for the main event, which will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Probably going to have about an hour break between streams once we get done with the earlier races, which set up the field for the main event. It should be a lot of fun. We did that last year. We'll be doing it again this year, and I'll be doing live commentary for every Cup race I don't go to in person once again this year. And we will be doing it for all the Xfinity and truck races as well. And in fact, most of the Xfinity and truck races, because there's quite a few Cup races I'm going to where I'm not going to the Xfinity and truck races that weekend. So we are going to really get through a majority of the Xfinity and truck schedule as far as the live commentary streams on the channel go. I think I'm only planning on going to like 3 truck races and 4 Xfinity races this year. So I think Talladega Spring is the only weekend I'm going to the Xfinity and Cup, because there's no trucks in the Talladega Spring race. But a lot of the other races I'm going to this year, only Cup. So there's going to be a plethora of live commentary streams on the channel this year as we are on the road to 5,000 subs on the channel. Dale Campbell, thanks for tuning in. I'm looking forward to the Clash too. Mark DeMars, Rick, welcome into the stream also. Let's get this underway today. 267 laps, 400 miles, and 80 laps in the first stage of tonight's race at Homestead. Overcast skies, 88 degrees is the temperature. And we will see if Kevin Harvick can survive and lock himself into the championship for today at Homestead. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing in the Sunshine State. Although we are not going to be seeing any sunshine in this race with the overcast skies, but it's still the nickname of the state nonetheless. And it rains pretty much every day in Florida too, so I feel like if they were going to nickname any state the Sunshine State, you would think like California would be the state, or Arizona or something like that. Places where it doesn't rain as much. Especially Arizona out in the desert. Wow, 3 wide already out of the gate there. Harrison Burton splitting Kevin Harvick. Daniel Suarez was on the outside. Harvick immediately just got out of the gas and on the brakes a little extra and let those 2 cars go. Already dropping back 7 spots in the opening lap and a half to start today's race. Harvick qualified pretty well, but I'm not really sure that he's got a quick car, at least out of the gate here. Might have to make some adjustment changes as this race progresses. Barely stays in front of Kyle Busch off the exit of turn 4. And Byron's got a massive run to the inside. A whole slew of cars down on the bottom lane right now trying to get by Harvick. It's our first trip to Homestead. On this game, this is the last track I have to race at for the first time on this game, and we will be doing a custom schedule season as well once the actual NASCAR season starts up here. Not necessarily this weekend, because we still have to finish this season yet, but when the regular season starts at Daytona, we'll be doing one more season of this game, and it'll be a custom schedule season as well. That second go-around. Furfur Express, thanks for tuning in also. Wow. I think Harvick's holding up a lot of these guys right now. He might be breaking a little too much in the corners, but at the same time, these guys are driving it in a lot deeper on corner entry than him. When he's in dirty air and he's got another car in the exact lane he's running in the corner entry in front of him, he's having a hard time trying to get the car to turn as well. There you see Almirola hanging on that left rear corner panel of Kevin Harvick. Couldn't quite get underneath him, though. Already going to plan on taking 2 rounds of wedge out of the race car to try to help loosen it up. There's no custom setups in this game, so unfortunately, kind of have to rough it out here, and especially with the stability help on at this racetrack. It's making the car way tighter than probably what it would be otherwise, even on the loosest setup possible. So we're going to have to try to accommodate for that the best we possibly can. Harvick definitely lacking the speed in the early going despite having good qualifying pace. Just got to hope we don't get a caution while he's falling back, unless he is just past the start-finish line, so we know he won't go a lap down with the scoring glitch. Remember, finished 3 laps down despite finishing 3rd place in the first race of the round at Las Vegas 2 nights ago on Wednesday evening. And they really chopped that corner off. They drive it in really deep, but then they also slide up the racetrack as a result, and they almost make contact every single time. Surprised nobody has made contact on the inside of Kevin Harvick's race car yet, but that may happen here if this keeps on happening with them driving it in as deep as they are. Dark Vader rules. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, man. Looking out of that look back cam, because there's no rearview mirror, I almost drove right into the turn 3 wall. Almost just didn't turn soon enough. Glad I'm not later in the run where the car is even tighter. Harvick going to drive it in much deeper this time into turns 1 and 2. He'll get to the inside of Chris Buescher. I don't think he's going to be able to make the pass, so he'll hop back up in line behind him. Austin Cindric's lost a few spots right out of the gate, though, too, unfortunately. There you see Harvick not being able to get that car to turn on entry. The 17 car right in front of him on that outside lane. Allows for Greg Biffle to get by as Harvick going to check up a little extra in the middle of the corner there. Cindric back in the 35th place position now already. It does seem like Harvick's a little bit better in turns 1 and 2 than what he is in 3 and 4. Eagles 42-7. That's a bold prediction. Is that your Super Bowl prediction? Harvick had to lift quite a bit extra in the middle of the corner, just trying to keep it off the wall, and that allows for LaJoie, Cindric, and Cody Ware to get by. Balicki's the next car in line behind Harvick, though. Harvick's got to be the slowest car on racetrack in the early going. Pretty strange how I qualified 15th, but right as soon as the drop of the green flag happened from lap 1, we clearly had the slowest car on the racetrack. It's got to be something correlated with the AI speed and qualifying with it being messed up on this game at this track specifically, because we're on expert difficulty. The fact that I'm able to qualify top half of the field like that, but right from the start of the race, we have the slowest car. Doesn't make any sense. Harvick managing the gas as best as he can, trying to keep the car clean. Don't want to risk making contact with any cars, as well as hitting the outside wall to risk blowing a tire at all. AJ Allmendinger slides up, almost makes contact with Kaz Gralla. Up in front of Harvick. Harvick gets out of the gas to keep it off the back of the 16 that time. It's going to be on the outside going into turn 3. It may allow for Balicki to get by the 4 of Harvick. On the outside right in front of Harvick, not going to help the turn in the 4. Bilicki will be able to clear Harvick off of turn 4. Harvick going to slide down to quickly block. Oh, trying to go back to the outside, almost turned himself off Hesman's front bumper. That was a close call. Got a little extra launch, I guess, on the front straightaway. Got lucky, he got hit square. Size Z, welcome into the stream. Try downshifting. Picked up about a 1/10 of a second trying to downshift that lap versus driving in 5th gear all the way around. I'm trying to brake a lot deeper into the corner downshift to try to help settle the race car on the bottom of the track. Then go from there. Feels like it's helping a little bit. I noticed that the RPMs were a little bit lower at the end of the straightaways when I wasn't downshifting. Harvick's actually starting to hold his own a little bit better now. No matter what happens here, you got to finish on the lead lap at the end of stage 1. That was something he was unable to do at Las Vegas. He was able to get back on the lead lap for the start of the final stage. And honestly, if it wasn't for those 3 cautions in the final 20 laps of the race, where he lost 3 laps because of a scoring error, Harvick may have had a very good chance to win. There's definitely going to be a one-on-one between him and Chase Elliott. Kyle Larson ended up finishing 2nd, though. 2 laps down due to the scoring glitches as well. And Larson leading after qualifying on the pole. He is still out in front. Harvick closing in on the 77 car of Bilicki here. Harvick underneath him. Oh, a little contact. Harvick got loose after the fact. Very fortunate not to have any sort of an accident there. A lot better into turns 1 and 2. Both on speed and grip level, really. And he's able to clear Bilicki. Bilicki gonna try to cross back over, and he just launched right into that corner that time. Easily gets back by the 4. The 4 kind of let him go, though. He was going to arc the corner off, and the 77 flatlined it so much that Harvick had to let him go, or there was going to be contact again. For the 2nd consecutive lap on that end of the racetrack. Well, maybe I don't have the slowest car in the field. Pretty darn close. Still got Hesmans and Smithley behind us. Keeping up with Bilicki and Gralla. Okay, instead of a last place car, we have about a 36th to 38th place car. Not saying much. Definitely going to have to make some adjustments. Try to get on the right side of the Pit strategy, hope we get some long green flag runs today. I think that'll help us out as well. And if we are going to get cautions, we're going to need some perfect timing cautions. Excuse me. Feeling a little bit under the weather. I don't know if you guys are able to tell or not. Garrett Smithley making a pass to turns 3 and 4. Trying to tough it out for you guys though. Haven't streamed that much on the channel the last couple weeks already as it is. Feel good mentally. It's just my throat kind of feels like it's got a frog in it, so been coughing here and there throughout the day. Oh man, Harvick about drove right through Smithley. Immediately caused his car to go straight up the racetrack as a result of the contact. Golly! Hesman's going to get turned, and that's going to cause a caution, which may put Harvick a lap down. Caution flag is out. Harvick causes a yellow there, and I have a bad feeling the leaders got back to the start-finish line. Harvick's car just got tight right in the middle of the corner again. I noticed that a couple corners in a row that it just went up the track. He tried to lift, but it was a little too late, and he still caught the left rear corner panel of Hesman's race car. Nobody going to pit during the caution flag, but this is not a good caution for Harvick due to the fact that he may lose a lap. And because of causing the incident, he cannot pit for fuel or tires. I'm trying to mute the mic as much as I can when I'm coughing. Alright, well, green flag back in the air. Brad Keselowski pit. There are actually a few other cars on pit road as well. Josh Bilicki, William Byron also hit pit road. Byron, the only playoff driver that pitted for tires there. So this is definitely going to be interesting. A lot of jockeying for position on this first restart of the day. There's a very good chance that most of the field is a lap down because of that scoring glitch, though, and not like it's just Kevin Harvick. Ah. This time Harvick scraped the wall today. Right off the exit of turn 2. The car has just gotten extremely tight. His last couple laps before that caution, and even still. Now he's hit the wall for the first time. Got 16 likes in the chat already. And on the stream, I should say. Appreciate it, guys. Guys and gals. Man, I'm having to lift so much. I gotta be more patient getting back into the gas. It's so hard. How slow we're going. 135 miles an hour seems way too slow in the middle of the corner. We're not going to know if we're exactly a lap down until we get to the end of this first stage. A lot of side-by-side racing going on, though, since the restart. One car got really loose off of turn 2. Harvick up into the wall for the second time at same corner. Almost halfway through stage 1. Yeah, about 134. You can definitely tell I'm worse in turns 3 and 4 just because of the fact I'm much slower in that corner than what I am in 1 and 2 at my slowest. Okay, maybe not really. It was about the same that time. Maybe a 2-mile-an-hour difference. Well, on the bright side, at least we got a good-looking paint scheme. I wonder if there's a chance that those 3 drivers that pitted during that caution are going to be able to make it to the end of the stage. Christopher Bell, by the way, was able to get to the lead on the restart. Super Bowl prediction? It's hard to bet against the Chiefs, but the Eagles look so good. It's tough to say, though, if Brock Purdy would have been able to play the full game healthy, you know, how much better of a fight would they have been able to put against Philly. Because I definitely think they would have put up a little bit better of a fight, at the very least. Holmes is banged up, but he was able to play through that pretty well against Cincy. Offense is still so explosive on both sides, though. It's going to be a matter of which defense is going to come to play better. And honestly, KC's defense did really good against Cincinnati. I was expecting it to be maybe a little bit more of a high-scoring game. KC's defense definitely shocked me. I mean, they had a couple picks on Burrow. It forced them into some errors early. Especially if as young as that defense is, too. They had like 8 rookies playing. It's crazy. On a team that's that deep into the playoffs, too. Harvick not wanting to short pit here, even though he knows he can gain a lot of time. The big reason for that is because he doesn't want to get trapped another lap down or 2 here, assuming that he's already 1 lap down with that caution coming out right as he was exiting turn 2. We were far enough into that opening green flag run of the race where he feels that he was a lap down because the leaders had gotten to the line. Again, there's going to be no way of telling for sure if that is the case until we get all the way to the end of this stage. Then we have to hope that those 3 cars that pitted during the caution will have to pit again before the end of the stage as well, which we are not sure if they will or not. Going to have to go a little less than 60 laps, a little less than 50 laps rather. So it's going to be close. Not a good start for Kevin Harvick today. It's good that he's got an 86-point cushion, but we don't want to run this slow the entire race. Unfortunately, I don't think we have much of a choice. We can kind of hold our own for about the first 30 laps of the run, maybe a little bit before that. The car's so tight, though. Definitely plan on taking 2 rounds of wedge out of the race car when we do end up making that first pit stop. Four tires and fuel as well will be the call on this 14. Gonna be my first time seeing Jimmie Johnson returning back to NASCAR. I mean, I've seen Jimmie Johnson race in NASCAR before in person. I was going to races before he retired. Got to see him race in IndyCar a couple times last year in Mid-Ohio and the Indy 500, so that was pretty cool too. Anybody know if he's going to try to attempt the Indy 500 again this year? Out of curiosity.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
I just have a feeling with the way the field is bunched together a little bit closer now because of that most recent caution coming out. I feel like we may get a caution with cars trying to hit pit road. The problem is where's Kevin Harvick's fuel gauge compared to everybody else's? I have a bad feeling that he may have to pit first anyway, and if that's going to be the case, I would have wish I would have just got my pit stop over with already. Could have tried to gain some time back. I mean, we should get a good gauge once we get through green flag pit stops. If we could cycle all the way through, then it'll be interesting to see, you know, when I pit in stage 2 and stage 3. Especially stage 2 with that being much closer in length than this stage. A few laps longer. Mohammed Aiden, thanks for tuning in. Kelly Suter, thanks for tuning in also. Are we going to stay out one more lap? I've noticed there's a few cars on pit road right now, but not many. So with a caution, and we know that under caution in this game, you burn quite a bit of fuel. No matter what, Harvick has to stay in front of the leaders to the end of this stage. He's going to pit this time. Quite a few other cars on pit road also. 45 miles per hour is the pit road speed limit. Harvick is easily going to get down to pit road speed. So 30 laps to go, stage 1, our first stop of the day. And it's under green flag conditions. We have had one caution in today's race. We had 11 yellows in the last race at Vegas. About 1.5 miles with the same distance. So it'll be interesting how many yellows we see today. We know we got 2 more coming with stage breaks. 2 rounds of wedge coming out of the race car as well here for Harvick. They're going to make a major adjustment on this opening stop as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. Elliott's in 3rd right now, but I don't think he's pit yet. Quite a few cars on pit road. Harvick downshifting even early in the run. So Christopher Bell scored in 4th. He is a lap down right now, though, unfortunately. Again, the top 3 cars hit pit road. Harvick's hoping that those guys are going to pit for the end of the stage. Maybe everybody's on the lead lap as of that last restart, with that being the case. Harvick gets by Balicki. Another car coming out of the pits right in front of Willie B. In the 45 car of Kurt Busch. Big run by Harvick on the inside of Byron in the middle of turns 3 and 4. He gets around him. Kevin Harvick cycled up to 35th, so he did gain a few spots on pit road. The problem is he had still a slow stop for the most part. Christopher Bell's quite a ways ahead of him, and actually Bell's up to 2nd place right now, so that tells me that Christopher Bell was a lap ahead of everybody. Which means we are actually 2 laps down, even if Bell... If we can't get by Christopher Bell, we're going to finish 2 laps down at the end of this stage. Which is not good. And we'll be able to pit during the stage break and try to make up a little bit of that time, but even still. I had a bad feeling with that first caution that we fell a lap down as a result, and that was the case. That's unfortunate. There's no way we have the speed to catch Bell either. He is pulling away quickly. Looks like Larson also on the same lap as Bell. Considering he has passed Balicki already and is now in 4th, trying to get by William Byron for 3rd.
Still there. Clear all around.
Save some gas now. We're going to make it to the end of the stage, no problem. Only have to go 30 laps. So they're not going to pit during the stage break. Man, we really needed that to stay green. I think there was a good chance we were going to end up going a lap down anyway if we went green flag all the way through the first stage, but that would have been better off than having that caution, because now we're going to be 2 laps down rather than 1 at the stage end. So they're going to go about 10 to 20 laps. Probably closer to 15 to 20 laps at the start of Stage 2 before they pit. So they'll have to pit twice in Stage 2. We're going to try to make it a 1 stop. Hopefully we can make up at least the 1 lap. That's what I'm hoping for at least. Maybe we will make up 2 with the fresh tires, because we will have about 30 lap fresher tires to start the stage. Hendrick Motorsports moving forward. Larson to 2nd. Bowman up to 3rd now. No clue how many cars we have on the lead lap currently. We know everybody from 33rd on back is 2 laps down though. And this car, by the way, is quicker with the adjustment changes. We're running our fastest laps of the race over these last handful of laps since leaving pit road. The problem is we're still so much slower than the race leader, Christopher Bell. Bell 32 points to the good coming in. A stage win's going to be massive for him as well. Big thing is for both Bell, and I'd say mainly Bell, because Logano started outside the top 10. No clue where he's running right now, obviously. We'll find that out at the end of Stage 1 if he's going to get any stage points or not, in comparison to the drivers below the cutoff line that qualify both ahead and behind him, if they may have a shot at any stage points as well. Bell's going to build that cushion up. If we don't get a winner below the cutoff line either today or at Martinsville, Bell's going to be in pretty good shape to be able to make it to the championship 4, as well as Kevin Harvick. Although I'd probably say even more so for Bell, considering how good of a start he's off to today, versus Harvick's not going to get any stage points in Stage 1. He's going to end up finishing 2 laps down in this first stage as well. Yeah, I mean, 86 points to the good is quite a bit, but it's not a lock. No matter what, we'll be above the cutoff line at the end of today's race. But if we have a bad run, and we are seeing some playoff drivers have some good days to start, I mean, there's a chance we go into Martinsville tomorrow like 30 to 40 points to the good, which is by no means a lock. Especially if we have a bad start. Now, I am pretty good at the short tracks on this game, so I'll give myself that. But the problem is if we don't qualify well, and we get quite a few cautions, especially in the early going, which we've had quite a few yellows on the short track races this season. In fact, at Martinsville earlier this year, I think we had over 12 cautions in that race. Good chance we'll have some scoring glitches as a result of that. Plus the race is 100 laps longer than the spring race that we had earlier this season as well. I think Kurt Busch has gotten around Bell to at least get one of his laps back here before the end of the stage. Still about 15 laps to go yet in stage 1. Kyle Larson closing in. Larson down on the bottom. Couldn't clear Harvick. May allow Bowman to try to close in a little bit more. Pretty good run middle off there for Harvick as he tries to keep up with the 5. I mean, honestly, he's keeping decent pace with the second place car right now. On equal tires, too. I mean, it took a little bit for Larson to catch Harvick. I will say that Harvick went the right way with that adjustment change. Chase Elliott up to 4th as well. Man, what a day for Hendrick Motorsports so far. Not leading, but they've got a lot of drivers in the top 5, and if Byron's still up there, they'll be looking at stage points in stage 1, and quite a few of them at that. Although it doesn't really matter for Bowman and Larson because they're eliminated, and for Elliott, he's already in the championship 4, so it doesn't really matter for him either. Larson and Bowman can still finish as high as 5th in points. Still likely. Comes to 48. Harvick going to leave the bottom open. Although Bowman couldn't get around him. Elliott gets by Bowman for 3rd and trying to get by the lap car of Kevin Harvick. Just drove right up into the side of him. Well, that's one way he's going to pass him. MS Harvick's corner up so much, too. Ross Chastain up to 4th. Again, he's 22 points below the cutoff line. He's having a good start to the afternoon. Down to 9 laps to go in stage 1. I'm actually 2 laps down. I'm 1 lap down on speed right now, but I'm a 2nd lap down because of a scoring glitch with the first caution. That's why it's so crucial not to make contact with anybody not only to risk yourself wrecking, but anybody else wrecking so we don't get trapped extra laps down like we did already in this opening stage. We've only had one caution too, but it already bit us. Just like we had that 3 times in the last race at Vegas. Problem was with that, it was all in the final 20 laps. Pretty ridiculous. We weren't really losing many positions, but we were losing laps on the leader, which eliminated ourselves as trying to win the race by any means. Almost 3 wide behind Harvick.
Stay right. Got one low. All clear.
Bowman's been working pretty hard trying to get by a Harvick over the last few laps, but still is unable to do so. Eric Jones going to get by the 48 on the outside lane behind the 4. Jones slides up. So he's able to clear the 48 car that time, but now they're side by side again on the front straightaway. Joey Logano just behind them, likely in the top 10. No, actually Logano at 15th, so he's a lap down. So that tells me that we have 14 cars on the lead lap. 14 cars on the lead lap. And then Joey Logano will be the first car 1 lap down in 15th. But again, no free pass in this game for being the first car lap down during a caution or a stage end. With Logano being a playoff driver and above the cutoff line, with drivers below the cutoff line in the top 10 right now, Martin Truex Jr. and Ross Chastain. Not good for Logano in the early going of today's race. I didn't really think about this till just now. There's a chance that we could have the same championship 4 in this game as we did in real life in 2022. Now, obviously, if Kevin Harvick makes it, because we were driving as Harvick, it might spoil the party. But if we don't make the championship 4, I think there's a very likely shot that, I mean, obviously, Elliott's already locked in. Bell's looking pretty good right now. Logano's above the cutoff line, and Chastain could get a win. He's in 4th right now. Maybe he still points his way in. You never know. Harvick lays an egg, which right now he's doing so in the early going of this race. He drops back to 37th with Brendan gone. Rather Noah Gragson getting by him. The 62 car. Man, look at the car just gets so tight in the middle of the corner. It's crazy how bad it gets. And it just gets worse and worse and worse over the course of the run. And this is not the first time we've seen anything similar to this. Bilicki has gone a lap down. It looks like Byron is on pit road. So those cars that pitted during the caution are pitting right now. Bilicki's still out on the track, but I think he did lose a lap already. So Byron not going to be in position to get stage points anymore. And I guess Kyle Busch in 14th is a lap down as well. Thought there may have been 14 cars on the lead lap. That is not the case with Busch in 14th. Bilicki going to pit this time off turn 4. Oh man, he is power sliding trying to get that car to slow up on those old tires as he comes off the banking of the racetrack. I think next green flag stop, going to try to use the access road, see if that's any quicker. It's worth a try. We're already 2 laps down, got nothing to lose. And the stage will be over once the top 10 cross the start-finish line here. Got a few other cars on pit road right as the stage was coming to an end. I had no control of my car there, as usual. So 37th at the end of stage 1 for Kevin Harvick. Take a look at who all got the stage points in the first stage of the race. Christopher Bell going to get the stage win. It's going to be the 33rd playoff point of the year for Bell, although the playoff points don't accumulate for any points in this round going forward in the playoffs as well. But that is now the 4th stage win of the season for Christopher Bell. Ross Chastain ends up finishing 2nd. That's going to be 9 points for him. Chase Elliott finishes 3rd. So top 3 all playoff drivers. Alex Bowman 4th, Kyle Larson 5th. Martin Truex Jr. below the cutoff line by 13 points, scores 5 points, finishing 6th on the stage. Eric Jones 7th, Bubba Wallace 8th, Denny Hamlin 9th. And William Byron still able to get a top 10 and get 1 stage point in stage number 1. Logano ended up 11th. Just missed out with those guys pitting late in the stage. There were a few other cars in the top 10 that pitted right as the stage was coming to an end as well. I think that's what got Byron back inside the top 10. And Logano very close to it as well. Kyle Busch just on the outside. So not going to update the point standings at the top of the screen tonight. So we are just going to hop right on into stage 2 then. So we're going to pit during the stage break. I'm not sure how much time we're going to be able to make up because there were cars pitting at the end of the stage, which is not good for us. But 4 tires of fuel, no adjustments here. Let's see what we can do. Alrighty. Alrighty then. 85 lap stage 2, green flag in the air. Now Harvick was the only car to pit during the stage break itself. Not sure who all pitted before the stage came to an end though. Harvick going to have about 30 lap fresher tires than most of the rest of the field that did not pit towards the end of the first stage. So this is going to be interesting here, and Harvick's got to make sure he doesn't run into the back of anybody. Stayed patient going into turns 3 and 4. Remember, he's 2 laps down to start this stage, looking to get 1 lap back as quickly as he can right now. And then once everybody pits, hopefully he can get that next lap back. A little contact with Logano there. And now contact in front of him between Justin Haley and Greg Biffle as well. Harvick to the outside. 3 wide, just gets by the 44, the 31, the 38, and 27. Starting to thin out the further towards the front of the field he goes. 3 wide again on the 23 and 43. Now cuts to the bottom in the middle of the corner as soon as he gets him clear to get to the inside of the 48 of Bowman. Slicing and dicing through the pack. And up to 28th is Harvick. Byron on fresher tires. Oh man, Bell shot up the track. Truex moved down in front of Harvick at the last second, trying to avoid the 20, and they nearly wrecked. We stay green. And Elliott moves up right in front of the 4, and now right down in front of him too. That was unnecessary. We really want to try to get in front of the 24 of Byron if at all possible. Harvick has to lift to keep it off of Chastain, who was a little loose off the exit of turn 4 there. Yeah, race leader's gone. That would be Kyle Larson. I'm wondering if Larson pitted right at the end of the stage. For him to get this far ahead. See, that's not right, because if you pit in the final 2 laps of the stage, it's technically a penalty. I think he pitted right as they were coming to the end of the stage. And he was still scored on the lead lap, because right now there's only 9 cars on the lead lap. Byron's the first car lap down in 10. We already know Larson is well faster than us. Maybe not by much with the adjustment change, but he is faster. And he's already ahead of us, because he didn't have as many cars to pass there. Especially because he stayed out during the stage break, because he pitted literally coming to the green, white, checkered flag. Byron going to get by Balicki up ahead. So, I mean, when this cycles all the way through, there's a good chance we're going to get back inside the top 10. Byron's probably going to move to second, but he's still going to be a full lap behind Larson. We're going to be about 2 laps behind him still, because we're already 2 laps down. I mean, maybe there's a chance Larson pits twice in this stage. I'd really like to go for just pitting once for ourselves here, but we're going to be losing a lot of time once the leaders pit. Which will probably be in the next, I don't know, 7 to 8 laps at the soonest. I don't think they're going to go too much further past lap 20 if they even go that far into stage 2. Which would be about lap 100 in the race. The great Mike Jones, thanks for tuning in. Still need NR 2003. Yeah, I've been getting that comment quite a bit. We'll maybe get to that someday. I know I keep saying that, but I'm not opposed to doing it at all. But I don't want to give you a specific time frame of when I'm going to do it, because I don't know. I don't know when. Yeah, spinning out glitch is annoying. Especially when it causes damage on your car. It doesn't do that every time, but it does it sometimes. Now, that damage doesn't actually, like, register, but it still stinks just to look at your car all beat to hell if you haven't actually damaged it the whole race. We scraped the wall twice off turn 2 in the first 89 laps, so that's it. Granted, when we spun at the end of the stage there, it didn't scratch the car at all. So it still looks the same. Now, Balicki is for position in that 26th place spot, just up ahead. Harvick looking to close in on him. Got a few lap pressure tires. You can definitely tell there's a little bit of a difference in speed. Four car was pretty equal on speed on equal tires anyway to Balicki. And that was before his adjustment earlier in the day. That was one of the few cars he was actually able to keep a decent pace with. Can't support motorsport games. I don't blame you. About to catch up on the back of the field. That could be one way he could get to Larson. Still doubt it. So far ahead. We'd have a much better chance of trying to catch Byron in lap traffic than Kyle Larson. Larson's just long gone. He was like 7-8 seconds ahead. That was even before we got in front of Christopher Bell. Already a handful plus seconds ahead of him. Harvick slowly closing in on Balicki. Nice little run off of turn 4 here this time. Shoots the gap down to the inside of the 77 car into turns 1 and 2. Can he clear him off the exit of the corner? Yes, he does, barely. But he did. And Balicki drives right into the side of him, trying to cross him back over. Harvick hops out of the gas to keep it off the wall. That was just rude. Josh Balicki not giving up this battle for 26 without a fight. Harvick with the deep dive into turns 3 and 4 now. Had to lift to keep it off him. Well, 3 wide action a little bit further up towards the front of the field. Good run off turn 2. Harvick down to the inside of Balicki into 3. Gonna try the slide job. And clear. Slide job worked to perfection that time. We'll see if Harvick can get away from Balicki. Tried to drive it in as deep as he could. Pretty flat entry into the corner. Just wanted to make sure the 77 wasn't going to get back to the inside of him again. He did not. Hopefully he's got enough separation now that the lap cars are right there as well. Right into Casgrala. There's Byron in the 24 on the outside. Harvick clears him. Three wide. Dillon got loose in the middle. Luckily it was clear of BJ McLeod. And I wonder if McLeod might have lifted just to let the 42 up the racetrack. Keep from that wreck potentially happening. Kenneth Clark, thanks for tuning in. I mean, we're up to 23rd. I'm surprised these guys haven't pit yet. I mean, I guess we're only 20 laps into the stage. I was expecting everybody to pretty much pit by about now. I still think they're going to have to pit before the end of the stage, too. Contact with Briscoe. There is one car on pit road right now. Dive bombs. Cracked the top 20. Remember, qualified 15th. It was 37th at the end of stage 1, 2 laps down. He's still 2 down. Larson's still well ahead of him. Really nowhere in sight. A couple other cars on pit road. I think the best thing that could happen is we get a caution immediately after everybody pits. We're most of the way through these pit stops because we're not going to lose another lap to Larson unless the caution takes place like right before we cross the start-finish line. Then we'll go a third lap down. But I would have to imagine Larson would stay out of the pits. So then we get pit. We can then get that lap back on the 5. Because Larson's going to be about a full lap ahead of everybody else with him staying out here. Pitted just before the end of the stage, so maybe he has to pit twice in this stage with it being an extra 5 laps. I'm hoping he does. That's our only chance of getting 1 lap back before the end of this stage. Now we'll roll a pitting. Eric Jones was a spot there. Kevin Harvick up to 14th. Ryan Blaney in 13th, getting held up right now behind Kyle Busch, who I still think has to pit. Blaney may have to pit still, too. Blaney's got some damage on the front of his car that could be holding him up speed-wise. Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, both the Austins into the pits. Quite a few other cars on pit road as well. And Kevin Harvick inside the top 10 for the first time today now. Up to 9th. Tyler Reddick coming in. It's going to be another spot for Harvick.
Got one right. All clear.
I mean, at least there's a chance Harvick can get stage points in this stage. I mean, you gotta think about it. Everybody's gonna have to pit one more time in the stage, regardless. Some of them maybe 2. Harvick should be able to go 1. Has to get to at least lap 42 before he has to pit again. So he's got about 15 laps until he has to pit. Almost in the wall off turn 4, had to lift. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano with big runs behind him now. And there goes Logano with the dive bomb. He's an extra lap behind Harvick. Hamlin, on the other hand, is not. And again, Harvick lifts right off the exit of the corner to keep it off the wall. Excuse me.
Got one left. Clear all around.
Michael Turner, NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing. Thanks for tuning in.
Clear. One left. Clear all around. One left.
Yeah, I had a bad feeling that was going to happen. I started crowding the 10 a little bit.
Stay left. Clear.
But he did move up at the same time. Harrison Burton's up to 3rd. Good run for the rookie.
Stay right. Stay high. Clear all around.
$18 likes on the stream so far tonight. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. Honestly, 12th place, considering we were 37, 2 laps down at the end of stage 1, and we're middle of stage 2 right now. Not too shabby. About 10 laps away from the halfway mark in this stage. No cautions for incident in stage 2 so far. Gonna look to take another round of wedge out of the race car to try to help loosen it up a little bit more on the next pit stop. See, the final stage being even longer, it's going to be very interesting and very close to being a borderline one-stop final stage. This one we could short pit and still make it one stop. Because I'm honestly thinking about pitting at lap 40 in this stage rather than 42, 43, just to get those fresher tires as soon as I can. Shocked the 38 didn't run into the back of the 4 that time. It's been a little bit since Harvick has been passed for position. He's been sitting in 12th place for a little while. He's only going to make some of this time right back up again on the drivers that would still have to pit. I think he's got a good chance to finish in the top 10 in this stage. Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain closing back in, 3rd and 4th place. But again, they are a lap down. Harvick is 2 laps down. Chastain making a pass on Bell for position before getting by Harvick. Both cars will go by on the inside through 3 and 4. Yeah, I do plan on making some YouTube shorts once the season starts up with the live commentary side of things. For sure. Willing to test that out. Not so much with this stuff, though.
Got one left. Clear. Stay right. All right, keep it high. Clear.
I see you, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Wow, just got down in front of Harrison Burton there. I think Burton's been kind of stuck behind Harvick for a little bit now. Eric Jones going to get by the 21 now. And Jones had passed the 4 right when he came out of pit road. So he's made up a full lap on Kevin Harvick in about 15 to 20 laps. We started seeing those guys pit at lap 20 in the stage. Kevin Harvick going to pit this time by. He will take the access road into the pits as well. That didn't work out too well. We'll slide through the grass. Can't speed, alright. 4 tires of fuel. 1 round of wedge coming out of the car. Adjustment-wise, Not the greatest pit road entry with that slide through the grass. I was surprised I didn't spin out, honestly. The car got really loose once I started getting into the grass. I was just completely off the throttle at that point. Just letting it coast. Harvick's going to have about 15 to 20 lap fresher tires than everybody else who pitted about 15 to 20 laps ago. And if Larson has a pit yet, chance for Harvick to gain at least a few spots on him. Getting up to speed 3 wide there on the bottom. Nearly contact between Ty Dillon and Garrett Smithley. Smithley for position. It's passed by Harvick. Cindric's up to 21st. Starting 30th, and in the very early going of the race was outside the top 35. Obviously no stage points at stage 1. Harvick really chopped that corner off trying to get by the 2. Larson definitely has not pit yet. Larson could pit any given lap at this point. The longer he stays out, the better for Harvick. The more time he's going to make up on him. He's going to want any sort of a chance of finishing 1 lap down in this stage. He gets 1 lap back there. But because of pitting before him, he ended up losing another lap. So he's 3 down, probably getting to 2 down. A lot of contact there with Kurt Busch. Larson stays out again. Still 40 laps to go yet in stage 2. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Just keeping it off the wall as he got to the outside of AJ Allmendinger. Gotta let the car feed up the racetrack quite a bit. Get by the dinger. Goes by Keselowski on the outside. Austin Dillon moving up, trying to get by Josh Bilicki. Harvick gets by and bolt down on the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how far Kyle Larson goes, because the final stage is going to be 102 laps. Larson goes 51 to 52 laps. There's a chance that anybody who pits during the stage break can make it on 1 stop. Everybody else going to have to pit twice no matter what. Don't think 3 stops is necessary. Should be 1 or 2. Should be interesting for our driver, Kevin Harvick, whether we go try to stretch it into 1 or a modified 2-stop stage, which I'm thinking of 2. We'll have fresh tires initially on the restart. Try to get by as many cars as we can for position and then kind of go from there. Because even if we're not going for the win today, we still have a chance to lock ourselves in based off of points. And there's a good chance we can actually get some stage points in stage 2, which I wouldn't have thought was going to be possible at the start of the stage, being 2 laps down, but it may be possible. Going to be 1 full lap behind Ryan Blaney in 15th here. He still has to pit. Get about a lap and a half back there. Big run on the 12. Got a couple cars on pit road. I think Larson's in right now, right at lap 50. So he's not going to pit this stage, but he'll pit at the beginning of the next stage. I'm hoping that we're at least 2 laps down at the end of this stage. I just hope that we're not going to be 3 down. Do whatever we can to not lose an extra lap to Larson. We can go 2 down. He's going to have to pit twice in the final stage. He's going to be on even older tires than everybody else, because everybody else is going to pit before the end of the stage, where Larson's not going to pit in this stage anymore. Really hoping we made up enough time on him. We're not going to know until we get to the end of stage 2 exactly how many laps down we're going to be versus Larson. Man, I apologize for that. Told you guys I was a little bit under the weather earlier. I muted my mic a couple times whenever I've done that, but we're in the middle of a green flag run like this. Kind of pops up out of nowhere. I don't really have time to mute it. Hopefully it's not too loud. Overdrove the corner a little bit too much that time. Didn't really sit too well on the bottom, just really starting to rise up the racetrack. By the outside of Justin Haley. I've noticed they do flatline turn 3's entry a lot more than turn 1, so I could pass a little bit better on the outside in 3 and 4 on the lower cars versus on the inside. It's a little easier to pass them on the bottom in 1 and 2 and on the outside in 3 and 4, but you have to be much quicker than them for that to really work. Byron's got slightly fresher tires than Kevin Hart. He's on a similar strategy to Larson. Maybe pitted a few laps before him. Which would have been a couple laps after Harvick. But still a couple laps before Larson. It's by Kyle Busch through turns 3 and 4. Byron to the bottom. Drove right up into the side of Kevin Harvick there. Slowing Harvick up. Boyer McMurray running around the Coliseum. Was that on Race Hub or something? Didn't Jamie McMurray do that last year too? Man, they were 3 wide. I think that was Byron who went around those guys on the bottom. Was only able to pass one of them, though. Big run for Harvick, gets sandwiched.
Clear, clear, clear. 2 on the outside. You're 3.
Door banging with Eric Jones a little more now. Finally clears him through turns 1 and 2. Harvick was 36 when he initially came out of the pits. Is up to 26, and we're still waiting on quite a few cars to pit yet. Might be a couple laps down at the end of stage 2 still, but he's got a good chance of getting the top 10, which would be major, because then he could pit for fresher tires during the stage break. Clash qualifying is tomorrow night. I'm not sure exactly what time. I want to say 8, but I'm not entirely sure. But practice of qualifying is tomorrow. And I know they're re-airing it Sunday morning on FS1 also. I believe the main qualifying and practice live tomorrow night is on FS1 also. Communist Legos, thanks for tuning in, by the way.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
20 laps to go yet, stage 2. $8:30, gotcha. Thanks for that.
Stay left. Clear,
It's
clear,
close.
Got one right.
Gonna find an illegal stream.
All clear.
Yeah, unfortunately I will not have you guys cover with practice and qualifying live commentary. Just sticking to the races. If I did that for like all 3 series, I'd be streaming literally all day on Fridays and Saturdays. Maybe a little too much. I mean, even the double-header races on Saturday for the Xfinity and Truck Series is going to be kind of a long day, but then if I added an extra hour, hour and a half of practice and qualifying on top of that, it's asking a lot out of me. Hoping I don't lose my voice by the end of the day, too. Not to mention, don't want to lose my voice because then I'd have the Cup race the next day. Down to about 131 miles an hour on corner entry that time in turn 1. 15 laps to go still in the stage. Harvick going to have to go about 45 laps on these tires to the end of the stage from when he pitted in the first half of stage 2. It's going to be the longest he's going to go in a single tire stint in today's race. Pretty close to the end of the fuel run, too. Should be able to go about 50 laps on fuel. Harvick on the inside of Cody Ware. Felt the car getting tight. I wasn't sure if I was going to make contact with him or not. I didn't have to lift. And I didn't make contact, so it was a double bonus. We'll say they run more of the middle to bottom lane in 3 and 4 when the cars do decide to pit here. That's what I've been noticing. They make green flag stops at Homestead in this game. Again, a lot of tracks they pit from that middle to upper groove. It really slows up a lot of cars, and then you risk running into the back of one super hard and causing a wreck, or at the very least damaging your own car. Not really the case at this track. Not too many intermediates that are like this in this game when it comes down to that. So Harvick going to have a little over 10 lap fresher tires once he ends up pitting during the stage break. Buescher really crowding the 4 here. Close quarters racing through 1 and 2. Harvick lifted to keep it off the 17. He's going to try to get back around him this time through 3 and 4 again. Couldn't get the turn in the car, though, in the dirty air, and Buescher may pit this time. He is going to try. He's going to get turned, and that is likely going to bring out a caution. Harvick hustling to get back to the start-finish line. There is no yellow there. No caution. A tough break for Chris Buescher. Got on one spot ahead of Harvick. Harvick not going to be able to get around him here. Luckily, there was no yellow flag there. That would have been terrible for Harvick if the caution came out. Probably would have lost another lap with a scoring glitch. Larson 2 seconds behind him. Harvick's about to go 3 laps down at the hands of Kyle Larson. There's no way he's going to be able to hold on for about 10 more laps. Larson pitted a little bit after Harvick, so he's got fresher tires.
Clear, clear, clear.
Jones going to get his lap back. Ty Dillon on the outside. He's going to get turned by Harvick. Harvick got tight right up into him. And caution is out. Caution flag is out. Now, Kyle Larson, I don't know if he got to the start-finish line or not before that caution came out. He was very close to getting to the line. If he did get to the line, right before the yellow flag came out, then that means that Kevin Harvick's going to be 4 laps down at the end of stage 2 instead of 3. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell. Not pit for fuel or tires, bringing out the caution. Second time Harvick's caused a wreck today. That time was off turn 4. Only going to have a couple laps to go in the stage. Green flag back in the air. Harvick couldn't pit for fuel or tires, bringing out that caution, but he will be able to pit during the stage break here in a couple laps, as long as he doesn't cause a caution ending the stage. That was a clean hook.
Got one left. Clear, clear, clear.
Anything that might have costed Kyle Larson the stage win.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
I believe this is the final lap of the stage. Larson did not get to the start-finish line before the caution came out. So we are still 3 laps down, assuming the stage ends at the line this time. We'll be 2 down still. If we were actually able to get a lap back and then... Yeah, okay, so that's what I thought. So the stage is going to come to an end. And it will be Kyle Larson winning stage number 2. Quite a few guys got back on the lead lap, though, in the restart in front of him. Ross Chastain ends up finishing 2nd in the stage. Chase Elliott 3rd. William Byron up to 4th place. Christopher Bell 5th. Tyler Reddick 6th. Denny Hamlin 7th. Daniel Suarez 8th. Alex Bowman 9th. Bubba Wallace rounds out the top 10. Truex falls outside the top 10 in 11th. Logano does not get stage points in either stage today. Problematic for him because Truex ended up getting 5 points. That's an 8-point difference going into the final stage between Logano and Truex. And Chastain gets 18 stage points today. So going into the final stage, Joey Logano is only 4 points ahead of Chastain and 5 points ahead of Truex. And 16 ahead of Byron. It is tight right now on the bubble. Playoff drivers outside the top 10 other than Truex 11th and Logano 12th would include Kevin Harvick 26th and then Austin Cindric in 25th. I don't know if Buescher DNF'd or not from that spin. I don't think he did. Wouldn't be surprised if he did, though, at the same time. Also. So we'll be able to pit during the stage break. I have a few lap pressure tires. Not really going to mean too much, but
Pit road is closed.
4 tires and fuel. We'll get back at it again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. We've had this glitch before, though. We're just going to ride around until we get to the restart. It's weird it doesn't count the laps, though. It's literally just wasting time. That's wasting our time. That's all it's doing. Okay, so we're going to be 3 laps down at the start of the stage. There's quite a few drivers on the same lap as us that we could pass for position on this restart. Looks like I have a little damage on the back of the car. That was because of that spin at the end of the stage, although that damage shouldn't register because it was during the actual stage break when I had no control of the car and the AI takes over. And we just spun under caution again. That's weird. What's going on here? Oh, come on. Come on, car. I have no control of this thing, by the way. So another stage win for Kyle Larson, back-to-back races in which he has had a stage win. That'll be his 7th stage win of the season, which gives him now the 2nd most of any driver behind Harvick, who has 22. Although it's been a few races since Harvick has gotten a stage win. No stage points tonight, though, for Kevin Harvick. And we've had some drivers below the cutoff line getting quite a few points, like Chastain with 18, Truex with 5. Byron getting 7 points, 8 points rather. I don't know that we're going to be able to lock our way into the championship 4 off of points today. Unless I get a really good finish. But even if I do, we're going to lose so many points to, you know, Chastain and those guys who got a lot of stage points unless they DNF. There we go. Man, I felt like this took a lot longer than usual to get back to the green. Even with that glitch. A couple other cars pit during the stage break. Austin Cindric seemed to have pit. Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Josh Bilicki. Green flag back in the air. Harvick having to check up on the restart, and he is 3 wide middle. Contact with Michael McDowell, now with Bilicki. Almost caused a wreck as he got pinballed back and forth off of turn 2. Larson on much older tires right now, holding everybody up, I do believe. He's a full lap ahead of everybody else. He is going to be pitting very soon. Definitely get one of our 3 laps back on him. Problem is, I think a lot of guys got back in the lead lap with that late caution coming out, so that kind of hurt us. Larson may pit this time. Nope, he honestly is going to pit any lap. Got to be prepared for it. Fairly equal tires with a lot of the guys Harvick has passed since this restart, but a lot of it is simply just Larson holding everybody up. All but maybe 5 or 6 cars that got around him. Larson in the middle lane right now. Hopefully he doesn't try to pit this time from that lane. He does not. Austin Dillon was probably going to run into the back of him. Harvick's so close to getting to the 5 car. Big check-up, contact with the back of Greg Biffle. We'll find out if Larson's still the leader this time. Almirola taking Harvick's line away. Yeah, Larson is still the leader, so it looks like Harvick is going to get the 2 laps down. And once he pits, he's going to make up another lap on Larson, but I'm not entirely sure how many laps he is ahead of second. He gets around Almirola on the outside for 19. Had a run on Eric Jones. Almost got into the back of him, getting into 3. Let's get by the 44 of Greg Biffle, though. It's at least 1 lap behind Harvick in 31st. No stage points today. 0. Big old goose egg in the stage point column. Not sure when the last race was that we didn't get a single stage point. Keep track of that. I'd have to go back and look. Contact with the back of Austin Dillon.
Stay left. All clear.
Well, it should get by Dillon this time. I think Austin's going to be close enough to try the crossover through 3 and 4. Looking low like he's going to want to try it. Garrett Smithley was already there, though. Harvick with the slide job on the 15, and he gets by him instead. Dillon to the inside of the 15, and big block by Harvick on the front straightaway down to the bottom on Austin Dillon. And back to the outside. Almost hesitated there. That about costed him. Yeah, no stage breaks on road courses. Did hear about that rule change earlier in the week. Excited to see what it'll bring. More strategy, that's for sure. Hopefully it goes well enough that they take it away from every racetrack. Kind of stinks it literally took this many years for them to, even do that. I feel like after the first year or two, you probably should have made that change, knowing, okay, this isn't working out too well. And there's no point of sacrifice. The whole point of having stage points is to reward points for drivers that are running well throughout the course of the race. But if the drivers aren't even taking the points, there's no sense of even having stages at that point. So if they're still going to have the stages, and not having the cautions at the end of the stage, it's going to work itself out. And there are larger ovals where that's the case too. Pocono's another track where if you're in the top 10, well, I should say if you're at the very front of the field, you can pit and do the same thing and not go a lap down. So that maybe is another track they have to maybe look out for in that aspect of things. Kyle Larson on pit road right now. So Harvick is only 1 lap behind Larson.
Stay left. Clear.
Slides up in front of Bubba Wallace. Knowing that we're not going to catch the 5 car for position, I am going to pit twice in the stage, but we're going to short pit both times. Try to gain some extra track position. So I'm going to make this a 2-stop stage. I'm not going to get the win. I'm guaranteeing the fact that I'm not going to get a win. We are 2 laps down right now. Looks like there are 7 cars on the lead lap. Ross Chastain is currently the leader. I think this is still Larson's race to lose, although Larson has to pit one more time yet. The thing is, though, is Chastain still has to pit twice.
Got one right. All clear.
So that's why I'm thinking Kyle Larson is still likely the one to beat today. Only had 2 cautions for incident.
Clear, clear, clear.
Ryan Blaney blows by Kevin Harvick. He pitted during the stage break. Three and a half seconds behind him. I don't even think we're going to catch Chastain, though. Actually losing a little bit of time to the one car. Barely equal tires with Chastain. He's slowly pulling away. By short pitting, we could get a lap back on him. I just don't know when exactly we're going to pit. Everybody else pit with about 15 laps to go or so in stage 2. 10 to 15 laps to go. It's going to be interesting. Why is that helicopter flying backwards? Get to the chopper. The chopper's going backwards. It's like there's like a gravitational pull. It's just causing it to not fly forward. Scrape into the wall off turn 4 there. Fourth time Harvick has scraped the wall in today's race. Done it twice on both ends of the racetrack off the exit of the corner. About 82 laps to go right now. Chase Elliott in second, running down Kevin Harvick.
All clear.
Alex Bowman right there as well. So Kevin Harvick going to pit this time by. Going to make sure he makes the dive off the exit of turn 4 this time. Big head of steam. And down to pit road speed. No adjustments. 4 tires and fuel for Kevin Harvick. Second to last stop of the day. About 80 laps to go in this race. So, I mean, we could go about 30-50 or 50-30 or 40-40 if we really want to. That's probably going to be the splits to the end. We're going to have to make 2 stops, more than likely. Or we could have stretched it on 1. I really didn't feel comfortable stretching on 1. I don't, honestly, how slow the car is on the long run, I think we would have probably lost time on 1 stop versus taking 2. Harvick has been as high as 7th place in today's race at one point in time. As long as they pit with over 50 to go, they're going to have to pit a couple times in today's race. A little less than 80 to go right now. We'll have to see about when the majority of those cars that still have to pit twice are going to pit. That'll give us a better idea of about what lap they'll pit the second time. We'll know exactly how many laps will be left. And we could gauge our final stop off of that to try and short pit again.
Got 1 left. Stay high. Clear all around. 3 wide.
We're slicing and dicing again. What's not broken in this game? I mean, even the graphics at times are broken, showing damage on cars that don't actually have damage, vice versa.
Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
It's crazy. The graphics are probably the best feature on this game, and even they're messed up some of the time.
Clear.
Especially at night. I don't think this game looks good at night from a graphics standpoint. Feels like everything glows too brightly. Cars look extraordinarily more white.
Stay right. Clear, clear, clear.
Side lane for Kevin Harvick here.
2 inside.
Really hoping he's going to have enough room as he mows the wall down off turn 2. Fortunate not to blow a tire. One car pit off turn 4 that time. Couldn't tell who it was. Looked like potentially Alex Bowman. Oh man, big slide by Kaz Gralla and then Eric Almirola off turn 2. Those two cars were hydroplaning. Yeah, that crowd went insane on Saturday night. Being there in person when Sami Zayn ended up hitting Roman with the chair at the end of the show. The whole crowd really, especially at the start with the men's rumble, was rowdy too. It was an absolute blast. I'm definitely down for going to another Royal Rumble at some point in time. Man. Apologize again. Church and Games, thanks for tuning in. Truex had to check up that car pitting off of turn 4. Might allow for the 4 to get by him for position here. We'll see. Actually, it's not for position. He's a full lap behind the 19 still. Not quite going to be able to slide clear. Close but no cigar. He does get by Cindric pretty easily in the corner though. Chastain did cycle ahead of Chastain, so he's only one lap down once everybody cycles through. Although actually he's probably 2 laps down again because Larson's ahead of him by about 5 seconds. Honestly, pitting when I did, I thought I was going to end up pitting a lot sooner than what I thought compared to the rest of the field. I mean, ideally they started pitting only about 8 laps or so after Harvick did. Didn't really give the 4 a whole lot of time to get some of those spots back. Taker did a meet and greet for $400 to get a picture. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know about that. I had a meet and greet with Mick Foley for like, I can't remember, what was it, like $40 once? Or $100. It's probably because WWE was hosting it, and that's probably why it was so much. Because WWE wasn't hosting the one when I saw Mick Foley in person in Toledo. It was just some random indie show. I don't know if like Mick runs that organization or what the case was, that why they exactly had him. I mean, that's more than my ticket. My ticket for the actual show is $268. That was like 16 rows from the ring, or from ringside at least. Great seats. Somewhat affordable price, at least within my range. I feel like $200 to $300 is my threshold for getting really good seats still. At a price like that, that's kind of my range. Ross Chastain getting by Kyle Larson, so he's going to be back on the lead lap. So Chastain has to make up a full lap on Kyle Larson. And it's going to be tough with the lap traffic, too. Getting held up by Ty Dillon right now. Allowing Kevin Harvick to really close this gap. Oh, Cole Custer. Let's turn a big left right into Harvick's car. Caused them to get together again by the exit of the corner, too. Trying to get back to 2 laps down on Larson again. Side by side still. Oh, Cody Ware just sandwiched us right behind the 5. It's ridiculous. I know we're way faster than Larson. Gonna have to try to get around him on the outside then. That didn't work either. Trying the outside through 1 and 2. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. We're losing a lot of time right now. My car just did not want to turn in the dirty air going into the corner that time. I only have 20 laps on my tires. I feel like it's tighter now than it was before. Why is it so tight? Probably because I hit the wall a couple extra times during this run already. I think I hit the wall twice. The most recent time was the second time. Took us like 3 to 4 more laps just to get right back to Kyle Larson again. Gonna get by Ryan Blaney cleanly through 1 and 2. Suarez blowing around the 5 and the 4 on the outside. I'd like to know why we're in 22nd right now. Was I like 17th when I pitted? How do we lose spots on pit road when I pitted like 8 laps before everybody? Doesn't make any sense at all. Cleared Larson off turn 2, but Larson gonna dive bomb back into 3 and 4 and moves right into Harvick. Harvick did move down into him, and now Harvick's in the wall again. This is not right. It just causes more and more damage to the sport car, which is going to make it worse and worse over the long run. Fell another 6 to 7 tenths of a second behind Larson. It's the 3rd time he's gotten into the wall, and he's made contact with some cars about 2 or 3 times as well this run. Make that 4. 39th place car, Ty Gillen gets into him. I left her a corner panel and he lost a couple more tenths to Larson that corner with the contact. Harvick's car is extremely tight right now. Larson getting a little loose off turn 2. I'm curious to know if Ross Chastain's going to be able to run Larson down and win this race. That's going to hold Larson up a little bit with the Licky pitting off of turn 4. Held the 38 car up a little bit as well. Here comes Harvick with a run back at Larson. There's a car on the bottom, though. That's Christopher Bell. Harvick surprisingly didn't get super tight on the outside. Well, I spoke too soon on that one. He wasn't tight till the very exit of the corner behind the 5. And another tap into the wall. I could feel it instantly get tighter the very next corner after I hit the wall. It's amazing how quickly it damages the car. The complex damage on. Larson up on the outside. Bell gets his lap back. 4 cars on the lead lap now. Harvick to 19th again. Almirola closing on him for position, though. Harvick was hoping with short pitting when he did, he was going to get more positions than what he did. I think he's actually lost a couple spots. Will continue to lose spots until he ends up pitting again. And he's still 3 laps down, too, as he has been unable to get back by Kyle Larson. It's going to be harder and harder for him to keep up with Larson with more cars that are passing the 4. Austin Dillon side drafting the 4, slowing him up off the exit of turn 4. At least there was no contact there. Would have easily caused the 4 car to go right back up into the wall again. Harvick overdriving the corner entry. He was just trying to stay in front of the 3 as long as he could that time. That's really all that was. Denny Hamlin up to 5th. Quite a good day for Hamlin. Getting in a top 5 finish, perhaps. Chance to get back on the lead lap on Larson here, too. I think everybody's got to pit with about 25 to 30 laps to go in this race. Harvick going to pit before that. Back to 21st.
Stay right. Clear, clear. Got 1 left. Clear, clear.
I mean, we should have passed Kyle Larson. Now the car is just too tight with all the damage.
1 left. Clear, clear, clear.
I mean, we have like 15 lap pressure tires at him.
1 left.
And now he's faster than us because we have so much damage that the car is even tighter now than what it was at any other point in this race. There's no way of really being able to fix the damage. Best thing we could do is pour 4 fresh Goodyears back on the car and go from then on. 2 seconds behind Larson. 47 laps to go. The only thing that can make this race even worse for us is a lights glitch. It's supposed to be a day race. Not supposed to end in the nighttime. But it had overcast skies all the way throughout, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the sun's at. I feel like there'd be a major sun glare going into turn 1 if it wasn't overcast. Harvick will pit this time by. Considering he's 3 laps down, even if he gets 1 lap back, he's probably looking at going about 40 laps, give or take, to the end of this race. I don't think we're going to get a caution unless he causes it. That was the only reason we even had 2 cautions per incident. Larson's coming in this time as well. Harvick coming in hot. That's speeding, and we spin on pit road. That's our speeding penalty, with spinning on pit road, I do believe. I knew we were coming in pretty hot there. About, what, 10 miles per hour over the limit? Who cares at this point? Torres, thanks for tuning in. How does Larson cycle that much further ahead of us? He pitted the same time as we did, and he is nowhere to be found. Why is our picker this slow? Everybody else gonna have to pit one more time yet in this race, except for Larson and Harvick. And there were a couple cars that pitted during the stage break. They might not be able to pit. Might not have to pit to the end of the race. Jesus. I swear, lap traffic has been so much worse for us at stage 3. I wanted to go up the middle. I knew it was going to close quickly. That's why I didn't go for it. 3 wide to the top goes Harvick. It's by him that time. Cody Ware's for position. Every point worth 1 position here for Harvick from now to the end of the race, so he needs to get going. In case we get any cautions late also. Speed penalty, do a 180. I mean, that was more of a 360. We kind of nosed the wall and turned us all the way back around. Oh my gosh. I thought Suarez was going to keep going up the racetrack, and then he cut down right in the middle of the corner, so I was getting closer to him. That's why I clipped the apron. I wasn't expecting him to cut back down. I was trying to keep it off of him, and we still made contact. It is so hard to predict at times where these guys are going, because they drive brainless. Brainless AI in this game. I'm just praying we can get a top 20 at this point. I don't think it's possible, but... Well, I should say it's not impossible. At the spot.
Clear, clear.
More cars coming into the pits. I think we can get inside the top 20. I just don't think we're going to stay there by the time everybody else hits pit road. Spinning on our way into the pits definitely cost us some time. That's another reason why Kyle Larson pulled away like he did, but I mean, even when we got corrected, he wasn't even in his box yet. We boxed only a couple seconds after he did. He is long gone. I mean, he was only 2 seconds ahead of us when we both pitted at the same time anyway, too. Definitely going to finish 3 laps down. I don't think he's going to cut all the way back around the track to put us a 4th lap down, although you never know at this rate. I mean, at least the bright side, we're not going to lose another lap in the final stage if this stays green to the end. Chastain scored at 2nd. I wonder if Chase Elliott has passed him for position. Elliott may be leading. Yep, that is the case. By 7/10 of a second right now, Chase Elliott actually leads over Ross Chastain. Chastain trying to win to make it into the Championship 4. Elliott is already in the Championship 4 because of winning the first race of the round at Las Vegas 2 nights ago. Elliott trying to go for back-to-back wins to get his 5th of the season. That'll put him at the 2nd most, just 1 win ahead of Christopher Bell. He's tied with Bell with 4 wins right now. 7 cars on the lead lap. There's a chance Larson could be a lap down trying to get... No, he wouldn't be a lap down because he's that far ahead of us. So I guess Larson's technically on the lead lap somewhere around the track. We're 4 laps down until the 9 and the 1 pit, or we pass them, which we should get around Chastain through 3 and 4, and then probably through 1 and 2 we'll get around Elliott.
Got one right. Clear all around. Clear all around.
Just less than 30 to go. Or right around there, I guess.
Clear, clear, clear.
I think the sooner Elliott and Chastain pit, the more of a chance they're going to have of potentially catching Kyle Larson. If you're Ross Chastain too, I think you have to pit about a lap or 2 before Elliott.
Clear, clear, clear.
Have a better chance of cycling out ahead of him. Even though they're a little less than a second apart from each other.
One left. Clear, clear. Stay right. Clear, clear, clear.
Kyle Busch in 21st. I think he might have pit already. I don't think Harvick's got a chance to catch the 18. Golly, I was on the brakes that whole time while I was closing on Briscoe in the middle of the corner. I was literally on the brakes just hoping I would slow up in time before hitting him, and I still didn't.
Clear. Stay right. Clear, clear. Clear, clear. Got one left. Got one left. All clear. Three wide. 2 down there.
Whatever happens, though, Harvick needs to keep it off the wall from now to the end of the race. He hit the wall like 4 times during that last run alone. I think he only hit it 4 times the entire race up to that point. Through the first almost 200 laps. That tightened the car up so much during that run. Really wearing out those right side tires a little bit extra with it. Again, no stage points for Kevin Harvick today, so even though he was 86 points to the good, There was a chance he could have locked himself in on points going into Martinsville tomorrow night. It's not looking very likely, especially if Chastain, who's below the cutoff line coming into the day, wins. That would put Joey Logano below the cutoff line. Harvick would need to be at least 60 points ahead of third in the standings after today's race to lock himself into the next round. And the reason why he needs to be 60 points ahead of third is because if we get a winner below the cutoff line, that would move whoever would be in... it needs to be 60 points or more ahead of fourth. So that way, if we get somebody different below the cutoff line that wins at Martinsville, that would knock whoever's in fourth out and then put Harvick back to 4. So he would have to be ahead of them by that many points going into Martinsville tomorrow night in order to already be locked into the championship 4 on points no matter what happens tomorrow. It's going to make those stages early tomorrow so important if we're not locked in, just to try to get as many stage points as possible early, just to lock ourselves in before the final stage, just in case something goes wrong, because we have seen that so many times in this game. Longer it takes before everybody else hits pit road that still has to pit that's ahead of Harvick position-wise, better for Harvick. The more time he's going to gain on him now, and the less amount of laps they're going to have to gain back on Harvick after they all pit. This pass will be for 26th for Harvick on Dillon into turns 3 and 4. There's him. Yeah, unless we get a late caution while Chastain and Elliott could be on the same lap, which because of potential scoring glitches, I just don't know that'll happen. We have had a couple overtime races so far in the playoffs. In fact, we had an overtime finish at Las Vegas in the last race. Technically, we would have had an overtime finish at the Roval. Overtime finish at Bristol. So 3 overtime finishes so far in the playoffs. Bowman pitting. Didn't really stack the cars up on the inside of Harvick, though. Just kind of drifted up into the outside behind him without having to check up any extra for the pitting Bowman car. Big run for Harvick, 3 wide to the bottom. Cody Ware, Joey Logano. Contact with Gilliland. Harvick must have passed somebody who pitted recently because he's up to 25th now. Ty Dillon still has to pit ahead of him. Kyle Larson still in third, which means Chastain and Elliott are still P1 and P2. They haven't pit yet, but they will have to pit before the end. Unless they have already pit and somebody else still has to pit. Joey Logano, despite no stage points today, is inside the top 10 right now. But I don't think he is pit yet. He seems to be a little bit slower than Harvick still. Harvick's got about 20 laps on his tires. Larson to second. Waiting on one more car to pit, then Larson will be the leader. About 5.5 seconds yet ahead of Harvick. And Harvick 3 laps down. Started the final stage 3 laps down. Lost 2 laps virtue of speed, one in stage 1, one in stage 2, but then also lost a lap in stage 1 due to a scoring glitch. With a caution in the first half of stage 1. So should be 2 laps down, but this has not had the speed regardless today. Qualified 15th, hasn't ran much higher than that many times in this race. Just a couple. And has been as high as 7th at one point in time, midway through stage 2. No stage points either in the first 2 stages for Harvick. It's going to be tough for him just to crack 20 points in this race. Bell in the top 5. Winning stage 1 and finishing top 5 in stage 2. It's not likely to win. If that happens and Chastain wins, Harvick definitely will not lock his way in to the championship 4 today on points. Byron closing on Bell. Bell trying to get by the 4 of Harvick. Not able to do so through 1 and 2 that time. Byron a second behind the 20 car. Bell dive bombs into 3 and 4. Finally gets by Harvick. Austin Cindric up to 15th. Harvick in the wall very lightly. There's one car that wrecked. Michael McDowell missed pit road. No caution there. So Michael McDowell misses pit road and wrecks, but no caution. Second car we've seen wreck today off turn 4 with no yellow. We saw that for Buescher earlier, but that wasn't because of that. It was just because of a spin after contact. $12 to go. Byron still stuck behind Harvick. He's cycled into the top 5 through green flag pit stops. I believe Denny Hamlin would be the driver trying to catch up for position to the end of the race. Hamlin didn't even make the 16-man playoff field. Byron racing still for a shot at the championship 4. Scored 8 stage points today. Looking at a top 5 finish. Came in 24 points below the cutoff line, but he's looking to try to close that gap. With the day he's had so far, it looks like he should be able to do so. Although with Chastain, who's just ahead of him in points, outscored him in the stages, it's going to be a little harder on Byron. Might be able to knock below 20 points going into Martinsville. But Byron did win at Martinsville real life in 2022. He won the spring race. Can't take him completely out of it. 10 laps to go. Harvick just lost a spot to Almirola. Drops him back to 23rd. Almirola going to get by Ty Dillon as well. Harvick will get by Dillon before the end of the race. Whether it's before or after Dillon pits. Maybe a chance he gets another spot for position from anybody else pitting. I think Ryan Blaney would be same lap as him once Blaney pits. There were 4 cars that pitted during the stage break other than Harvick. I think it was Ryan Blaney, Ty Dillon, Josh Bilicki, and it might have been another car, if I'm not mistaken as well. I can't remember exactly which one. Maybe Keselowski. Not sure where he's at position-wise. I know Bilicki's already behind us, I believe. We're definitely closing in on him, though. I guess we'll find out pretty shortly.
Got one left. Clear, clear.
Lost Dillon to the outside. Harvick trying not to cause another caution. He hasn't done it in the final stage. He did it once in stage 1 and once in stage 2. 2 stage breaks, and that's why we've had the 4 cautions today. Hey, I have wrecked a couple times, but we haven't gotten a caution for that. Gaining on Ty Dillon, there's so many other cars in the way. Slim pickings. Big run on Dillon, getting into 3 and 4. Got by Justin Haley, held Kurt Busch behind us a little bit. Haley was actually 4 positions, so was Kurt Busch. Gosh, we might finish outside the top 25 still. Five laps to go.
One left. Clear all around. Clear all around.
Chastain in P2. Trying to run down Larson to the end. Harvick will get by Ty Dillon going into turn 3. Dillon may be trying to pit this time.
Clear, clear, clear.
And he will. Might have been out of gas, honestly, on the back straightaway, slow as he was. Puts Harvick back into 23rd.
Got one right.
Bilicki's another spot. I think he'll have to pit before the end here. Considering we're 3 laps down, though, I guess it's not a guarantee. Chastain did cycle ahead of Elliott, though. If he could somehow catch Kyle Larson to the end, he can win it. I don't think he'll be able to catch him, but guess you never know. Kurt Busch gets by for a spot. AJ Allmendinger just a couple tenths behind Harvick now. Harvick blocking Denny Hamlin. Clean block getting into the corner. Buescher to the outside. Harvick almost making contact with the 17. 2.5 laps to go. I don't think anybody's going to catch him for position from behind other than Allmendinger. And there goes AJ. Really hoping we can get to Bilicki to get back to 24th. We're faster, we're just probably not going to have enough laps considering we're 3 laps down. So that should give us just 2 laps to go. I was really thinking Bilicki was going to have to pit before the end. I think because he's a few laps down himself, though. That's probably why he's going to be able to make it. White flag is in the air for Kyle Larson. Final lap of the race. Should be able to hold on Ross Chastain. It'll be the second win of the year for Larson. It'll be the second non-playoff driver to win in this playoff format. Unless Balicki pits off turn 4 this time. I don't think Kevin Harvick's going to catch him, unfortunately. Cindric rallies to 16th. No stage points today, though, so he's going to end up losing quite a few points, and likely in a must-win situation at Martinsville. The rookie's going to... Balicki is out of gas off turn 4. That'll give Harvick another spot. That'll be 24th at the line. Well, that worked out. I figured he was going to have to pit. Oh, Cindric had to pit behind us, too. He might have lost some extra spots coming to the checker. Yeah, he lost at least 3 spots. So Kyle Larson gets the win by about 11.3 seconds over Ross Chastain. Chase Elliott just 0.3 behind Chastain. Almost ran him down in the closing laps there. 4 cars finish on the lead lap today at Homestead. And again, second win of the year for Kyle Larson. But the Watermelon Man finishes second highest running playoff driver. Chase Elliott, who is again in the Championship 4 after winning at Las Vegas, will end up third. Christopher Bell 4th. Martin Truex Jr. 5th. William Byron 6th. Denny Hamlin 7th. Tyler Reddick 8th. Daniel Suarez 9th. And Joey Logano rounds out the top 10 today. Playoff drivers who finish outside the top 10 would include Austin Cindric in 20th. Kevin Harvick 24th. And that was it. The other 6 playoff drivers finished inside the top 10 today. The only 2 that didn't were Cindric and Harvick. Gonna win Miami as if he didn't really have to get his second win of the season. I think, no, that would have been the 3rd win of the year for Larson, right? When he won at Miami. Because he won Auto Club in Watkins Glen. Homestead would have been his 3rd. But yeah, just like in real life, though, Larson wins. So, that's going to wrap it up. I'm not going to be able to get the points out to you guys right now. I'll create a community tab post either tonight or tomorrow morning on what the point standings will look like going into tomorrow night's race at Martinsville. And then I'll find out if I locked myself in on points. I don't think I did because I only scored 13 points today. And we have to be at least 60 points ahead of 4th. Coming into the race today, we were 73 points. So as long as Logano outscored us by at least 13. And there were some other drivers that outscored him by more than that. So they would have made up on the cutoff line. Logano made up 14 on us, so that's 59 with him. And then Chastain finished 2nd, which was even more points, plus the 18 stage points for Chastain. So, yeah, we're definitely going to have to try to race our way in at Martinsville then. We are not locked into the Championship 4. Even with the 97 playoff points, we still, through the first 2 races of the round, could not clinch. And that was even with a 3rd place finish at Las Vegas last night, or 2 nights ago. That's how insanely good these playoff drivers have been in the playoffs so far, especially the ones that are right around the cutoff line or above. So thanks for everybody tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Tune in to Martinsville tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our live commentary coverage of the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum on Sunday for the real NASCAR Cup Series races, as we will be doing live commentary at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday for the heat races as well as the LCQ. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will do a second stream that night on the main event. About an hour break in between those 2 streams. Hopefully I see you guys Sunday. Hopefully I see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good rest of your Friday evening. And I'll see you back and better than ever tomorrow, where we try to get Kevin Harvick in the Championship 4. We have 3 spots available. And we still have 7 drivers fighting for those 3 spots going into tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your Friday evening.